Woo! We're back. Welcome everybody back to our vlog. Excited to talk to you guys about all things related to the Amazing Race. And with this episode, we're excited to preview this whole new idea that we're trying to promote within the Amazing Race community, just a way of bringing together current racers, former racers, our respected alumni that have done this before us, kind of paved the way, led the way, let us know kind of how amazing the race always was and made us the super fans that we are. But then also bringing us together with fans, people that haven't yet been able to be on the race, maybe don't intend to be on the race, but love to tune in every single week and watch the different episodes as they come out. So this was just a fun idea that Lori and I kind of put together and thought, let's do it.
You came up with this idea, and it's brilliant. I cannot wait to share this with
you. You are muted. Your microphone. No. Yes. Let me unmute you.
It's on.
There we go.
There we go. Right. It's his idea. That's what I was saying. It's his brilliant idea, and I think it's awesome, and I can't wait to share with you.
Yeah. So we're going to first kick it off. We do have a really awesome team that's agreed to join us from our season. So again, each week will be a panel of racers and fans, and it could be any or all of the above. So current racer is one possible slot that a guest might fill. And the ones that we're excited to bring on with us
are our favorite.
We're not allowed to have favorites.
We're not allowed to have favorites, but they're our favorite.
So we call them Team Lumberjacks. They are.
Well, no, we called them. What gladiators. Before we knew them, we just called them Team Gladiator because, well, you'll see.
Well, let's just bring them in real quick. So this is Pops and Jeff. Welcome to the show. We're excited to have you guys here.
Scott and Lori, what's up, y'all? Scott and Lori, what's going on?
Man, we love you guys. Thank you for being here.
That was my first time hearing the Gladiators nickname. I like it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, really? Cool. That's all we called you.
I didn't know.
You remember when we were in California with all the teams, and it was kind of like, okay, they look like the nerds. They look like that. Like we just had little cute nicknames for everyone, and you guys were the Gladiators.
Well, and I think the exciting thing for us was we legit were on the same shuttle as you guys from the airport in LA interviews, going all the way to the hotel for that last final interview with CBS executives and the TAR production crew. And I remember Lori and I, what were we talking about?
Well, first they tell, because we're not on the show yet, but this is like the last step. And they tell you, once you land and get off the airplane, do not talk to anyone, because anyone could be a potential person on the Amazing Race. Right. So we load the shuttle, and here are these two extremely handsome, extremely strong guys. And I'm like, shiz, they're on the show. And Scott instantly thought Jeff was like on Big Brother or another show. And we were like, oh my gosh, we can't let them know that we're part of this. So let's say we're going to Disneyland. So we just start talking about Disneyland.
So crazy.
Which they didn't believe at all.
The moment that we sat down, I elbowed him. I said, that's a team.
That's a team.
And then when you sat down and you were like, so babe, what are we doing tomorrow? Going to Disney World?
Right.
And I was like, sure. And we talked about that ever since, man. Like,
we wanted to laugh when you're talking, because we knew. And then Scott, he looked at my shoes all up to my head. I'm like, oh yeah.
He's checking us out.
He was.
Always.
That was funny.
All right. Well, let's put a pin in for a second. We're going to have more conversation as we go along, but I want to bring in our next guest. This person is somebody who so much fun, super active in the Amazing Race community already as a former racer. He was so fun to watch with him and his teammate, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of an intro with this video that we were able to collect, and then we'll bring him in here.
Yeah.
So here we go. Welcome to the stage, Team Walla Walla.
Team Walla Walla.
Butler.
I do not have my partner in crime, Mom, here, but thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so excited to have you.
Oh,
It's been such a thrill watching you guys
Great to
compete
have
last year, the last season. It was just so phenomenal.
We were
Tell us more
cheering
about
you on from the very beginning. Like, it was awesome to watch you and your mom compete together.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that parent.
Oh yeah, go ahead,
You
Jeff.
were a parent-child team, man. So we was rooting for you guys for
All
sure.
the time,
Yeah.
I'm rooting for y'all. Yeah, next week I'm excited for you, Scott and Lori, but the parent-child team have a special place in my heart. So hoping
Yeah. Same here.
I'm excited.
So tell me, Danny, what's made you such an advocate within this like amazing race community? Like, why is it that you feel like you need to be anywhere and everywhere?
Oh, I mean, growing up watching The Amazing Race with mom, like since season 14, but I've gone back and watched the earlier seasons. I just want to specify that, but love The Amazing Race. Have always loved The Amazing Race. And then once you get to live it, I was like, I don't want my journey to be over with that. Like, I want to stay in touch with this Amazing Race family. I want to connect with the fans. I want to be able to like create experiences where like we just get to talk and nerd out about The Amazing Race. So I'm stoked. This is my first podcast of the new season. So thanks for having me on.
Oh, we're stoked to have you here. And we're going to bring in our last guest. He's going to be filling our fan slot for us. This is a gentleman who's been such a big support of the community and just really, and what's crazy is I didn't realize just how far the TAR fandom goes outside of the United States. Like I thought, oh, US show, probably just a US fan base. And then I've just been blown away at just how many international fans there are. So joining us all the way from the country of France, we've got Dom.
Hey guys.
And to tell you just a little bit more about Dom, Dom comes to us as an admin or a member of the admin team at Tar Hub, which is a Discord community I'll let him tell you a little bit more about. But also he runs the Tar Hub Instagram channel. So if you see any content with the Amazing Race Hub, that's all Dom, trying to get more out there as far as the community and excitement building around the Amazing Race. So tell us more, Tom.
So I'm one of the admins at Tar Hub. It's still a pretty new venture, but yeah, I think we've got a pretty good footprint already. I'm a long-time Amazing Race fan. As you can tell from the accent, I'm not from the US, from the UK, and super stoked to be involved in this project, to meet all you guys, and to kick off another season. Last season, it's so great to see like which teams come out with podcasts and everything. So it's super excited to be part of the first one, and for this new season's kickoff.
That's awesome, Dom. So tell me what made your admin team start Tar Hub? Like, why create a Discord community where fans can come together with racers? Like, just tell me more about that.
So I've worked with some unrelated communities on Discord before, and I think it just works so well in terms of fostering a relationship, bringing people together. It's really customizable for putting on events. So I think it's a Survivor one. The Reddit Survivor has a big one with a few thousand people, but there wasn't one that I knew of for Amazing Race. So and rather just being a space for fans, we built it with the goal of making channels and separate areas and spaces that work for sort of both fans and alumni of the show as well. So a group of us got together. Fans from all over the world. We've got some from New Zealand, Canada, Philippines, all over. We planned it out, worked on it for a while, and we launched it late last year. Last year, a little bit before season 36 aired.
Right.
And that was our first full season. It's gone really well. We've enjoyed it, and I think we're in a really good place for this season, and looking forward to seeing how it works as the season goes on.
Well, I know Lori and I are members on there. I know Danny's on there. I've seen him there. I just get such a kick out of the events that seem to be going on. Like I know around Christmas time, they were doing this whole advent calendar thing where, people could try to figure out all little puzzles and things from previous seasons. I know you guys do rewatches from other seasons, old seasons that people can kind of rewatch with the group. Every day you're focused on different, like an episode of the day or a team of the day and just inviting commentary on that. So I just think it's fun. You're just celebrating everything, and randomly different stuff may come up.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff from past seasons. But yeah, super excited to watch the new season with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's start this off by talking a little bit more about what we're seeing, or I guess what we started with as far as our Amazing Race experience. It's like we lost Jeff and Pops, probably get them back shortly. So, what started your excitement around Amazing Race? Tell me the first season you watched or the first season you got involved. Tell me about that. Danny?
Season 14, Margie and Luke's season, was the first full season I saw. I got to watch the finale of the season before. Mom brought me in and was like, "Oh, there's this show on." And I didn't get to watch a lot of TV growing up, but this idea of like challenges and running around the world and doing like crazy stuff, I was like, this is so cool. And then Margie and Luke just kind of as the forefront runners. I know Tony and Dallas, and there was another mother-son duo, but like Margie and Luke really cemented the like son and mother like dynamic, like strong teams. And so
Sure.
I just remember them getting first on that first episode and just being like, "Mom, we're gonna do that someday," and then the rest is history.
Oh, I love that.
So how old were you, Danny, when 14 was airing?
Oh, season 14. I don't know. I'm 28 now. And 12 years ago. So I was like 13, maybe.
Looks like
Well, and we always watched the show and wanted to do it, but I was either nursing or pregnant or having babies for so many years. I'm like, there's no way we can do it. Do you guys remember when they had the family edition? Like one time, it was a one and done. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could do that with my kids, like in a few years when they were a little older. But Phil has said he will never do that again. It was too hard for children.
It was a little chaotic, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know, like for Lori and I, we started watching the very, very first season. Like we're OG fans. Season 1, episode 1, watched it air live on TV. It was weird because we had to wait to watch episode 2 because the whole 9/11 thing happened that same exact time period. But watching episode 2 air a couple of weeks later, but we were instantly just enthralled with just the excitement around this idea of racing around the world, experiencing cultures in a different way, it's just so fun. We're going to talk a little bit about what projects maybe that we're working on, what things that we're doing. I know we lost Jeff and Pops for a second. I'm sure they'll be joining us back here shortly, but I'm going to bring up the Amazing Race graphic, which was our backdrop earlier, but this is the poster for our show. It premieres, I guess I should say, March 5th, which is going to be so exciting. 90 minutes.
But if you look at the background very carefully, it gives major spoilers of places we have gone.
Things that we're not allowed to say.
Yeah, we can't say, but I'm like, just that poster like blew my mind. I'm like, wow, they are sharing a lot of good information with that alone.
I was trying to see if any of those figures looked like any of us, but definitely not us. We weren't running that fast.
No, we're sloggers. We don't run that fast.
So something else that I was excited about, I saw this shared by a reality TV fan. But a really cool thing about Amazing Race season 37, we're the oldest cast ever.
Yep.
Crazy. And I'm talking like, so season 14, that was clear back in 2009. I had to look it up, spring 2009. And then Amazing Race season 21, that was 2012. So, 14 or 16 years and 13 years later, we killed it by like 3 years over that average from before, right? So average age now of 40.1. Like that's just nuts. What do you guys think about that? Are you excited about that or weird? Like what is that?
I'm stoked. I'm like excited. Like I think when you look at a season and there's like whether it's age diversity, whether it's team like dynamics, it's a really interesting take. I'm really excited to see it. You always root for Eric and Shalisa on our season were they're like grandma and grandpa of the season. All absolutely all of us, but you root for those people, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jeff and Pops, I got you muted. Let me unmute you.
We having some pretty bad technical difficulties with our audio and video and everything. I had to leave and use a different device. Can you hear
Okay.
that background noise?
A little
Yes, a
bit.
little.
Yeah. So that's
Is
why I
that
muted too. That's much
is that
better.
your lumberjack friends? Are they
They're
chainsawing
all in the background.
competition outside?
That sounds better now.
It sounds better now. Whatever just happened.
Okay. Good,
Yeah.
good.
So what did we
So
miss?
we were just talking about the average age of our crew being 3 years older than the next closest season. Just how
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
Pops is contributing to that number, apparently.
Say it again.
Pops is contributing to that average age.
Oh yeah. He raised us up quite a bit, huh? I don't think Pops was the oldest though. Pops is 65 now. He was 64 when we raced.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think he was the oldest though.
No, I think it was Melinda.
Melinda,
Melinda,
66, I believe.
66,
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Melinda.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think Lauren was 61, Jackie
believe so.
56, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, crazy.
My aunties.
We were young compared to some of you.
We thought we were going to be the grandparents of the show. So we were
Yeah,
happy to see older people.
Yeah, I thought, I'm 36. I was 35 when we ran. I thought I was going to be considered older. You know what I mean? Obviously, I got my pops with me who's almost twice as old, but I thought I was going to be one of the older people. I thought we was going to be racing against a bunch of 21 and 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hey, there were some of those.
Yeah.
It was a couple.
Yeah,
It was a couple. And it was so much fun to have them around. You mean like Hine and Holden? They're really young. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I think that, first off, the largest cast ever, 14 teams.
Right.
Just so many of these firsts happening with this new season 37, that,
sure.
the oldest, average age ever, the most teams ever with 14 teams. Just super fun. The next thing I just want to give you guys is each a chance to talk a little bit about some of the things that you're doing, projects you're working on, things like that. So we'll start with you, Pops and Jeff. What do you guys have coming up?
So we've been pouring a lot of time into this premiere, man. Obviously, we've never done anything like this. We're super excited for everyone in our city, everyone in our family to be able to come out and watch the premiere with us. So March 5th, the date of the premiere, we're having a big party down at the Hawthorne. It's on Washington Avenue in downtown St. Louis. If anybody is close to St. Louis, come out. It's gonna be food and drinks. Bring the whole family. It's absolutely free. So you can go online and you can RSVP. If you go to our Instagram, which is just Pops and Jeff, my Instagram is the Black Lumberjack with periods in between the words. And you could just RSVP for free. We would love to see. The goal is to see a lot of race fans. I want to see those amazing race fans just come out of the woodworks. I want to know where I can go and hang out with those fans later. Like, where are the Survivor watch parties and Amazing Race watch parties in St. Louis? I want to know because I want to, like he said, like Danny said, I want to nerd out with everybody and talk about it because I really love this show.
I love it. And I feel like people need to understand when it comes to Pops and Jeff, they do things right. Like, they're pulling out all the stuff. They're going to show you a good time. It's going to be fun. So if you're anywhere close to the St. Louis area, you definitely want to go check that out. And it's fun to have that Midwest representation going on, just not this East Coast, West Coast now. So.
Yeah. And the good thing about it, there's going to be a lot of people there that have never seen The Amazing Race. They've never watched any probably reality competition show. It's a bunch of lumberjacks, from our work life. Just people that I grew up with, people that Pops grew up with, our family. If you say Amazing Race, it's a household name. Everybody knows what you're talking about. But it's a lot of people that just have not tapped into it. And I want them to see it and fall in love with it like we did,
That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you got coming up?
I'm actually going to a premiere party in 2 weeks. It's a Bryson Wendell Presents event. They tour around the nation. I think they're coming to St. Louis later in the year, which will be fun. And so, but Bryson Wendell will be in LA for Survivor. But really, I'm going for the Amazing Race premiere that Jonathan and Anna are putting on. Really excited to be race representation and just hang out with a bunch of people and watch the shows that we love. So that'll be pretty fun. Personally, Mom and I have a podcast that we started last season called Read the Clue Recap, because that is an important thing to do on
Read the
That's rule
clue.
number one.
Rule number one.
Yeah.
And so this Sunday we'll be going live at around, I think, 2:00. But we're going to be recapping the teams, our thoughts on the season, and just like general excitement of what's coming next. And so you can check us out at Read the Clue Recap. And then other than that, stay tuned. Danny Butler will be hosting Race San Diego, which Amazing Race, I'm not knocking you off. Do not sue me.
No.
It is just an adventure race with some random envelopes,
Some really fun envelopes that look similar.
In San Diego in May, I will be hosting that. So stay tuned for applications if you're like, I want to go try in a mini Amazing Race and won't have a chance to do the real thing. So that's what's
and
going
we'll
on.
have links to all those things in our blog description below. So feel free to click on those links, engage with the community. Again, I think the excitement here is there's just so many opportunities across the country and around the world where people are getting together with fans, racers, everybody, just to enjoy this whole thing, related to it. So let's talk more about our upcoming season. This is the cast photo that they've already released. The first one was the one we shot in the park before we went out there. And that bottom one is at the start line. We got Phil right there in the middle. But there's our colors. There's the whole thing. Crazy to think these 14 teams starting off, no clue about what they signed up for.
Yeah.
Do you remember that day, Jeff and Pops?
I remember it like it was yesterday, man.
Man, it was a journey, man.
It was a journey.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
And that moment, so both of these photos, even though they look so similar, they're so different, right? Because the first photo, that's the photo shoot, the group photos and the individual photos. That second one, we're at the starting line. And I don't know about you guys, but up until that moment, maybe honestly until Phil did the eyebrows. Phil did the eyebrows, I did not believe that it was happening. It's like, even though I knew we were going on a race, right? I've known for 2 years, I've been telling Pops, like, hey, we're going on the Amazing Race.
We're going to do this.
But at any moment, it could have been taken away. I'm thinking about COVID protocols. I'm thinking about anything that could have happened to say, hey, I'm so sorry to tell you, Pops and Jeff, but you're not racing. You know what I mean? So that moment at that start line, that's a very important moment, I think, to all of us.
Yeah, when you're looking at that, Dom, what are you thinking? What are you excited about? What are you nervous about? What are you thinking?
About this season? I mean, as you mentioned before, I can't wait to see how it's going to work with such a huge number of teams. How I mean, you mentioned it's the oldest cast that we've ever had, but it's by such a huge margin. I think that's so awesome they've done that. One of our other admins has been like messaging all the producers for years, talking about how they need to get older teams on. So he likes to take a little bit of credit for that. I don't know how effective that was, but super excited. Can't wait to see how it all shakes out.
Danny, do you remember your starting line?
Oh yeah, I mean the photo in the park takes me back. I know exactly where that photo
is.
Wow.
But it's just like I'm so excited for this journey for all of y'all. Like there are I think it's pretty record number parent-child teams, which is exciting. I think it's tied second most or most, which is super exciting.
Nice.
It'll just be fun after a season that some may consider vanilla with no twists, no U-turns, no scrambles, to going to a season of twists. I'm so excited to see what Amazing Race does. And producers, the producers are so thoughtful and so creative, and I'm really excited to see how it all plays out.
Awesome. Well, let's watch this video. This is the promo they just barely released, I think maybe 2 days ago, CBS promoting the season. And then we'll talk more about the upcoming episode. Here we go.
I cannot believe this is real life.
My logical brain just shut down.
We're going in for first.
Do not not even.
Claws are out.
Don't you give up.
Is everybody ready to race?
We're on the amazing race. We're doing it.
This season, there are more surprises than ever before.
These seasons of surprises will give you a heart attack.
This is the first time, the first ever Amazing Race First. Big surprise.
We have no idea what's coming next. I look like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Now home doggy dog, why are you looking at me?
Doesn't matter how many no's you get, all it takes is one yes.
I don't lose.
Sounds like trouble in paradise.
You have to force things to go well. You're amazing, Alyssa! You okay, Alyssa?
Let's go, babe.
The Amazing Race. New season begins CBS Wednesday, March 5th and streaming on Paramount+.
Oh,
I think that was an awesome clip, but they missed one major thing. Scott and I are not featured in it at all.
nowhere to be seen.
I'm like, where are we? We don't even you don't even see any of us. I'm like, we were in that taxi. We did that thing. We did that. I'm like,
Right.
I think
Oh, well.
it turned out really good. You don't see us in that one either, and they usually come out with a few of them, especially when
Yeah.
the season's about to start. And I think that got me super excited. You know what I mean? I've watched it 100.
but wasn't that Pops?
It
That
was.
fell on his butt.
Yeah, it was possible doing
Okay.
that kick.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Oh, with the can't talk about
yeah.
challenges.
I know. I'm like that
Yeah.
thing.
The
That thing.
kick.
that fell?
I was doing my
Yeah.
soccer thing there.
Yeah. Yep, you did a good job in that kick because it looked super intentional. I've seen professional soccer players kick and then fall backwards the way that he did that.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I do remember this picture when we were on that balcony because we were talking to, even though you're not allowed to talk to anybody,
Mhm.
Jeff and Pops, I'm like, okay, you look over that. There's all the cars. I'm like, we run down those stairs and those cars, and they're like, yep. And we were bonding with them from the very beginning of strategy. I mean, it was clear that there was a line of cars that everyone had to go to, but we just wanted to make sure that Jeff and Pops and us knew exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, where we were lined up, they had us all in order, and I didn't realize until somebody commented in our family chat with our TAR, people from our season. But apparently, the team numbers were all in alphabetical order. So again, my fault that we were team 14 because
That was
my-
alphabetical order. I never
Apparently, yeah.
knew it. I did
Yeah,
not
I didn't know
realize
either.
that. That makes so much sense now. But
team 1 was Alyssa and Josiah, so the A.
oh,
and
it was
then
about
Bernie
the first
and Kerrigan.
names.
Yeah, first
Got
names.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was how in order that they got them, like assigned them, and I was like, we barely made this. We're
We
team
barely
14.
Yeah, like okay, and then you're 14, so it's like we're gonna add a 14 when we like them. Yeah.
But something with this biggest cast that they've ever had. So you don't people that aren't in it don't realize that you have a camera guy and an audio guy with you at all times. So there's so much more. There's more rooms. There's more food. There's more people, production behind the scenes with all these people with this larger cast that you just don't think of. You're just like, oh my gosh, it's a big cast, cool. And you're like, no, it's a lot more to take care of.
Oh yeah.
Hey, y'all had a camera. I'm
Well, I think as long as you stay close to your crew. Oh, wait,
Right.
sorry.
You gotta stay with them.
I do want to give a shout out. Bridget's rap was so actually good. Like that
Right.
for me, highlight of the commercial. I'm like, dang, I'm rooting for them. Just so fun that they included that in the episode. But I think analyzing the commercial, I'm like, oh, you got airtime. Oh, you didn't get airtime.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you didn't get any
Interesting.
airtime our season. Oh, does that mean something now? So it's fun to
know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I know as fans, like they're looking and hyper analyzing everything, right? So they're trying to figure out like what do we know about the challenges that the season's going to have based on little clips from the videos, and then what do we know about who's at what stage of the race, figuring out, so it's just funny to watch the fans try to anticipate what they think is going to happen, and whether that's the reality or not is just kind of fun. But
but it's also fun for me. Like I didn't know Bridget could rap. Like I never saw that racing with her. Like, and when Alyssa fell, I never knew that she fell. Like, so there's like little or Jeff or Pops falling. Like I wasn't there at that particular moment. So watching it, I'm like, oh my gosh, because again, you're just so tunnel vision of what you do, what you and your teammate do, and you don't really realize everyone else struggles. And like watching that first episode, which we'll talk about in a minute, like there was so many things that blew my mind that I'm like, I had no idea that would happen. So
yeah, no, it's super exciting. Like I hope it's doing the same thing to the fans that it does to me. Like when I watch that promo, it's like, wow. And as a fan of the show, I'm like, this is going to be a great season, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think you nailed it, Jeff, in the sense that there's going to be more promos, right? This isn't just one. There's going to be probably a second, maybe even a third before we get to the actual premiere night. So it's just fun to see all the different elements that are sneaking in, different dynamics that maybe already are in play, you know, super fun. So yeah, let's get to episode 1. A little bit of information CBS is already sharing with us. We're not sharing anything we're not allowed to because CBS has already shared this. But this is season 37, episode 1. This is the title of the episode. They say double the stakes, double the eliminations, and even gave us this little description about, like, you know, what's going to happen on premiere night with March 5th on CBS or Paramount Plus, wherever you want to stream the, you know, service, whether it's live or on demand. But they talk about the fact we're going to our first destination. It's going to be in Hong Kong. And they talk about the first time ever having this surprise twist called the fork in the road, and how that fork in the road is going to create these 2 parallel paths for a portion of the race that is going to eventually lead to 2 teams being eliminated, which is just crazy, right? To think about.
It was crazy standing there like in front of Phil. First off, like that is mind blowing. But when he is saying, "Okay, this first episode, you guys, it's this double elimination," and I wish you could hear like the gasp of just us 14 teams going, "Oh, no way! Oh my gosh! Like this is wild!" And then Phil kept talking and telling that there's more surprises and more crazy things, and we were just like, what did we sign up for? Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be intense.
What would you thought when you counted 14 teams? Because you know you were there. So when y'all were probably counting, what were your thoughts when you're like, oh, there's 14 of us?
Honestly, the first thing that I thought is, am I an alternate? You know, I'm like, wow.
Exactly what we got.
Tell me. I'm like, I'm thinking they would tell us if we were alternates, but oh man. And then I'm thinking that one of these teams are alternates, and we can't talk to each other until Phil says go. You know, but I'm thinking like, but we've made connections, all of us. You know, everybody's looking at each other and everybody's so cool. And I'm like, dang, one of them got to go home, or it might be us that got to go. Right. You know, so that's the first thing that I thought, to be honest.
Well, and I think we were in the same boat where we were like, are we all like legit on the show? Like, because I know when we first went to that orientation conference room, we start, you know, checking everybody out, you know, measuring everybody up, trying to figure out what's going on. And I counted 14. I was like, okay, they brought the alternates along. And then Laura and I look at each other, wait, we're team 14. Does that mean we're one of the alternates and they just haven't told us yet?
But then also we're thinking, well, normally they've got 10, 11, 12 episodes. So then I'm thinking when he's like double elimination, I'm like, there's going to be like 2, 3, 4 double elimination. Like, oh my gosh, like this is huge. Like we're going to be kicking people off left and right. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, too fun. Too fun.
Yep.
They may or may not do that.
Never know. It's a twisty
I'm going to share this next. These are a couple of clips that they released. CBS did from.
Look at those guns. I mean, come on.
I mean, clearly Jeff Jr. is like not even flexing unless that envelope is like really heavy, which I don't remember. Heavy. Like that shirt, both of those shirts are ripping, trying to like get out of the way of those biceps. Like
it's a perfect picture with the Buddha in the background and the steps. It is like that's money. That's money shot right there.
They captured a good one.
They captured a good one on that one. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we've got this photo, and you can make out on the picture.
So I, as the super fan who know no spoilers, I did not look up any spoilers. Nope. I have every single one of these photos to analyze which side people choose and to see where teams are and who's in front and who's back. But that's just the fan in me. But
yeah, of course.
You can see.
Well, and I think that's what's so fun about the show is that you were a fan before you went on, and you're a fan when you finish. Like we don't stop.
You're more of a fan.
You know,
right. You're more of a fan.
More.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
if you look at my face looking at that board, you can see this is something so new, because when you know you're about to go on a race, you go and you binge all these seasons and you're studying and analyzing and you're getting to know this game, and then you come out here and he tells you from the very beginning, like, this is not what you've seen before. There's going to be twists and turns at every stop, and that I like that, because my dad and I, we cut trees down. That's what we do every day. Every 3 minutes, we're doing something that looks impossible. Every 3 or 5 minutes, as you're cutting a tree down, you're making a decision that can affect somebody's lives, somebody's property, or something like that. So we're used to twists and turns and chaos, and you know what I mean, and having to make decisions.
Yeah.
And I was so glad that the race was going to be this way, honestly.
Yeah.
For sure. What do you see, Don, when you see something like this? I mean, being a fan for so long, and you see something new like this fork in the road, like what goes through your mind?
Oh, I mean, it's so good that they found a way to keep the show going through COVID. But it always came with some caveats, like and then 35 came back, and they came back to the normal race formula. But this season, I think they're just like, right, okay, that's all over now. So here we go. Here's all the ideas we had for the last few years, and we're just going to put them all in one season. And super excited to see how it all plays out, because this first one is pretty crazy for the first episode. So yeah, I can't wait to see what else they got.
Yeah.
Danny, what would you have thought of fork in the road if that had been something in season 36?
I would have been terrified, because at our fork in the road, we were in last place, and so I would have been absolutely terrified. But it's fun. I think it's a really cool way to allow people to choose their own direction, choose their own strengths. Like, do you take a risk and put yourself on last on a task that you think you could make up time on, or do you go in the spot that, hey, I might have some more time, there's some people behind me, but this isn't a strength of mine? So I love a twist. So
yeah, I think you nailed so many of the thoughts running through my head when I get to that board and I'm looking at it, trying to decide, like, do we take the number side that makes sense and something that maybe we're not great at, or do we take something we know we're going to dominate, but we don't know how far ahead those other people may or may not be? It's just such a crazy thing. I'll share this photo. This is the one. Go ahead.
Something real quick. Pops, what is in your bag? That bag looks so heavy.
Oh man!
You know what? Yeah. I was looking at that, but was it that big for
No, that's how big your bag was. Mine, you can't see.
It looks so big.
Like mine was more heavier. We had the same exact bags. I wish I could have talked to you before we left, man.
Absolutely, man.
We both had some big, heavy bags, man. The biggest ones we could find. It was so stupid.
It was crazy, man.
They were carrying all of their weights that they needed to lift.
They used their bags.
I wish I was carrying some weights.
Jeff wanted to.
I wanted to bring some workout stuff, man. We can't go to the gym.
That was a good question, man. I looked at that myself. Said, was our bags actually that big?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They weren't heavy. There was a lot of stuff, but it wasn't heavy to them.
Right. After a while, it was. Yeah. It gets heavy.
Yeah.
It gets heavy for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next photo. I don't know.
I'm so concerned about this flight. I'm so concerned. I don't know.
Wow. Clearly an airport. Clearly we're trying to figure out something. It was a
I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't even remember that.
So I don't want to tell any more about like what specifically was happening there. But
no, we can't.
It was
we
just
can't after.
so funny that was the photo that was released for us. That I was like, I guess that was a.
Everyone has these awesome pictures with the Buddha and the stairs and their muscles, and I'm like,
in this photo. This photo is in Home Alone 2 when you found out Kevin was missing.
Right.
Which one of my 8 children is missing?
Yeah, right. That's funny.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, where's Kevin?
Yeah,
I gotta get back to Kevin.
That's funny.
Or they're saying
that was a good
one of your kids is close. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought I was on having a break. I thought I was on vacation. I did not want to be with my children right now. Could be either way.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. All right, let's get to these next photos. This is crazy.
That's
but
so
this is the pit stop, right?
Look at that.
That is
I mean, we're overlooking Hong Kong. Phil is standing there, 2 different set of pit stop greeters, 2 different pit stop mats. Like, this has never happened before, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Danny, question. When you see that, can you kind of try to guess what the challenge is from seeing that picture? As a super fan, like, what are you thinking the challenges are?
Well, I didn't even think about that. My mind went to, okay, I'm drawing these pictures. The end is going to be memorizing the outfits.
Right.
That's true.
That is more what I'm thinking. But now if I had to guess with that perspective, maybe the jumping dragons, like the left side looks like the jumping dragons. So
Interesting.
I have no idea. The right side, we have seen some clips of
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and dancing or learning some sort of routine. So we'll see.
Well, obviously, none of us can comment because we know and we can't confirm, but super fun. This is them closer up, which I thought was an iconic shot.
Wow.
But the makeup is incredible. Just costuming, everything, just so crazy.
So, and that's another thing.
Go ahead.
Another thing about going on that race is because if I would have just saw these pictures, they look. It's like, oh, they made those pictures look so good. They caught that great shot, but this is how beautiful everything looked there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, this is that background where the pit stop is and everything. Like, that was an unbelievable scene to witness in person. You know,
Yeah,
just,
sure.
Just as amazing as this. Well, the picture doesn't even do it any justice. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and remember one of the story producers was like, "Oh, dang, it's cloudy because normally this is the most amazing shot. That's why they chose that location." And I'm thinking, wait a minute, it really is an amazing shot already.
Yeah,
like,
with the
they're like,
cloud,
it's
with
even
the
better
cloud.
when the
Yeah.
cloud coverage was higher.
Wow.
Anyways,
Wow.
All right. Well, let's talk about this next part. You guys, half of this panel has actually seen this episode already, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about Atlanta.
I really like that
What
picture.
is this?
That is a beautiful picture.
It
It
is.
everybody.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It was so good to see everyone.
Lori, but without your other half, we tried to figure
it was
out
weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, without the white hair to stand out amongst the crowd. So I'll run through this. So we got Jeff and Pops. We've got Han and Holden. Lori there in the middle. Then we got Nick
Mike.
and Mike. Oh, sorry, Mike and Nick.
Mike.
And then Jack and Carson. All these are our family members from our season 37 people. And you guys were all in Atlanta for this SCAD TV Fest which again, I think this is the first time this has ever happened.
No, Phil said this was the second time they've ever showed the first episode, but we heard about it like just a few weeks ago. And so we were like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. This is like huge. This is epic where they're going to show the entire first season and it's open to the public. Well, of course we messaged Jeff and Pops on him. We're going. Like, are you going? We're going.
Right.
Scott's like, I got to work in the ER. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going. Like, I have to go.
Yeah.
I this a month ahead of time. Like,
Danny tried to go. He was looking at tickets. He told me.
oh, Danny, I would have had a seat right next to me.
Man, that'd have been cool.
That'd have been so cool if he showed up. Yep.
Hey,
So we get there. We don't know the panelists yet. So we know for sure that it's Jack and Carson, myself, and Pops and Jeff. We don't know the other 2 teams until like the night before that they were trying to surprise us. We were surprising them, and it was epic.
Yeah,
it was.
What I want to spend a moment. I don't know what it was, but Bill seemed to be just super obsessed with Jeff and Pops. So let's watch this next video.
Jeff and Pops. Don't sit down so quickly. Turn around, stand up. I'm only doing this all right. We get to come up here as well, Jeff. We get to the starting line, right? And I'm doing my normal spiel. And I'm looking around, looking in the eyes of everybody. I'm excited for everybody. And then I sort of do a double take, and I'm like, wait. So I say to Pops, I say, how did you get your legs onto your arms like that? I mean, seriously, can you give us a little pop on that? This way.
Again, I don't know. But I think Phil had a major crush on both of you guys.
I think he still has a crush on you guys.
No, the funny thing about that video is Pops, back in the beginning of January, he got his rotator cuff surgery.
Yeah.
You know, it was torn, and they go in and fix it. It's a common surgery. He had the right arm done maybe about 3 or 4 years ago or something like that.
Right before we left.
So so Phil, if you look at the video, he's grabbing his shoulder.
I just took the sling off.
He took the sling off that morning.
That
just to go to
morning.
that event. Yeah,
Right. And Phil was like, "Go ahead, make a muscle." I want to say, man, I cannot make no muscle.
he couldn't do it because he's a lot better now.
I'm
but,
cool.
Like,
I'm
he
good.
just
now,
took his sling off that day, and Phil's like, "Come on, Jeff."
I was supposed to take it off.
He was
go to the doctor
crying.
the next day, which I went the next day. He told me, I was good to take it off, but that was just a day early. I took it off, and it was. I'm used to having it in the sling for I had it on for like a month.
Yeah.
And it was like feels like make a muscle. I'm like I want to say Phil, I can't.
Yeah. And the
All right,
first conversation. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, without spoiling anything, those that have seen the episode, what can you tell people? Like, what can they expect in watching this first episode?
I'll start. The audience, just hearing the audience clap and cheer for something that I was a part of, like, was so rewarding. Like, it was it was amazing.
Man.
Watching the episode, I feel like all of us felt chills. We all got teary-eyed. We all laughed. We all were like cheering someone on because they were struggling at something. Like, all of us, it was like the most unique experience. It felt like I was just watching like my children or my family members compete or struggling or succeeding or whatever it was. Like, everyone was just, I don't know, it's just this overwhelming feeling. Like, it was every emotion you could possibly feel. It was so amazing to watch that.
I can just agree with everything Lori just said. That episode, and I don't think it's just because we're in it or we're a part of it, but every single scene, every turn, whatever is going on, you become invested in it, and like whether it's something happy, something sad, something hard to do, finally overcoming that hard thing to do. It was so, and I kept looking around the room, and I'm sure I looked like a idiot, steady turning around in my chair the whole time because I just wanted to look at everybody's faces, and everybody was just as invested, and you hear everybody clapping, people cried. It's like it's super. It draws you in, that episode does, and if that's a glimpse at what the season is gonna be like, and I can't wait. I just can't wait to see it all. I can't wait to see that episode again. I wish that, usually when you watch it at home, you could stream it again if you missed something.
Right.
See this again. And
we'll see other things that pop up to us for sure.
Oh, for sure. Because, we were in the moment, and it was so many times that even with us sitting in that front row, something would happen or something would not happen that we all knew happened. And, we just gotta, and Phil is sitting one row behind us. So when everybody starts whispering and talking, I'm like, oh, wait, guys, because I don't want to get in trouble with
Phil was sitting behind us?
Phil was sitting
behind
us.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, the whole time. So it was like, I didn't want to.
And I thought it was so cool. I mean, we've become so bonded with this group of these 14 teams. And we watched, and not to give any spoilers, but like there was a couple times people legit struggled with something that I had no idea that happened. Like, it wasn't like a dumb little thing. Like, it was huge thing. Like, and I'm just getting chills just talking about it. It's just like, it makes another level of our friendship that I'm like, you overcame that. I had no idea. And I did this race with you, and I had no idea. Like, I had to watch that part because they wouldn't share that with us. Like, it's just not something you didn't bring up, but it was just, it's such a bonding moment for us.
Yeah. And it was so many times in the race. I don't know why I don't know how they picked us all, but it seemed like there was a lot of love with our group. And each time or any time we may have got ahead, I wanted to help the person behind me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I knew we were racing, but it's like we can't, but we were racing.
Yeah. It was definitely.
I remember talking with Matt from production, and he was telling me like this 90 minutes, when you boil it down minus commercials, because obviously they got to make money off the show, and then you dial out the content that Phil has dedicated towards introducing concepts or the culture or where we're traveling or the challenges, it boils down to like about 56 minutes left. And when you consider there's 14 of us teams, that's like about 4 minutes per team. So
Right.
there's not a lot of FaceTime that we can expect to see, especially if there's a lot of shots that feature a lot of us at once, So,
Yeah.
but to have our stories come across in that short period of time in such a dynamic and powerful way, I think just a huge kudos to the production team for what they put together as far as content.
Oh yeah.
This is awesome.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And I look at different seasons. Like I still, watch certain episodes. I went back and watched. I had a really nice conversation with Maya, who won season 25. I talked to her for about an hour and a half the other day on Zoom, and it made me want to go back and watch her season because of certain, stuff that she was telling me about it. And anytime I go back and watch any episodes, you look at it so much differently. You almost want to tell yourself, oh, that must be so and so running with that team because of how he got that shot. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different experience now, and it's better. I like it. I love it actually. So, yep.
Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap up with two more things I want to share. One of them is this thing I found online. So Lori and I have been playing for years now, along with Survivor, this thing where you get to pick these people as part of your draft team and you earn points through the season through this fantasy Survivor game. And I found out that they've actually got one dedicated to the Amazing Race. It's called Bracketology. So for those that want to play along and do a little bracket, I don't know if you're big into, March Madness bracket stuff or whatever, but if you go to bracketology.tv, I know it's super small. I should have made it bigger, but you can actually draft us in your bracket, in your teams, in your, little, pool of friends, family, whoever you want to play along with. But it's interesting. They got these little bios, and nobody called me to ask me anything about this. I don't know where they got these bios from, but I wanted to read you the sentences about each of you and then give you a chance to respond to whether you want people, you think they should draft you or not. For Jeff, for Pops, it says Jeff Pops Bailey is a 65-year-old lumberjack from St. Louis, Missouri, whose rugged strength and wisdom make him an intimidating force on the Amazing Race season 37. Do you agree with that, Pops? Or maybe I should ask Jeff Jr.
I agree. It's funny. It's weird because I'm like, how did they come up with that? How do they know that? Who is this person? Is it AI that comes up with those mini bios or what? But I definitely agree. For sure.
And I would think about Pops like the intimidating part, like only for like 1 second until you talk to him. Then he's like the kindest, nicest person. Is not intimidating at all. Yeah.
And he's not the most vocal person, but when he speaks, you need to listen up because he's got something important to share. So
I appreciate that, guys.
And I think that's the wisdom part that they're talking about.
That's it.
All right, for Junior, here we go. It says Jeff Bailey is a 36-year-old lumberjack from St. Louis, Missouri, whose endurance and hardworking nature make him a fierce competitor. What do you think, Pops? Pretty good summary.
That's it. That's him.
But I'm still weirded out about it because it's like, who writes these things?
Right? Nobody called you to ask.
It's because I'm a lumberjack and because I don't know. I don't know where they. But it's right. Yeah, I would say. I would say it's accurate.
Wow.
All right. For me, it says Scott Thompson is a 47-year-old physician assistant from Salt Lake City, Utah, whose calm demeanor and medical expertise give him an edge in any crisis. I don't know, honey. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's good. I would say you're more funny, like more silly, but they are focusing on like, I don't know.
Career.
I don't know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. And then for Lori's, it says Lori Thompson is a 49-year-old, 50-year-old as of yesterday. Happy birthday, Lori. So she's a 49-year-old stay-at-home mom from Salt Lake City, Utah, whose multitasking skills and nurturing instincts make her a powerful partner in any race.
I wouldn't say nurturing.
Right.
Multitasking. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. She's tough. I know that.
Yeah, she's tough.
Yeah.
So would you draft, or are you telling people they should draft you or not? What do you think, guys? Pops and Jeff?
Oh yeah, draft us. Yeah, draft.
I'm drafting Pops and Jeff. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
All day. Yeah.
I did see one page, and I can't remember the name of the Instagram, but I lurk on all of the Instagrams that's related to Amazing Race, just so anybody knows. And they it looks like we got drafted pretty low on the list. Everybody was picking teams, and I don't know if I'm looking at it correctly, but it was only like us and like 2 other teams left when they picked us, man. So yeah,
you're gonna get it wrong.
Yeah, pick us, y'all.
I know Mom and I are making a draft on Sunday. It's hard because you don't want to like I'm gonna draft people later who can take it.
Yeah. No,
well, it's hard for someone like you because you're friends with everyone and you don't want to hurt any feelings. And I'm like, you have to like separate that, especially like when you race people, the other teams that might have helped or not helped you. Like you have it's game, and now you're friends with them. So you need to draft how you're going to draft, Danny. And we support you.
Yeah, do it. No feelings, no hard feelings at all. Yeah, I was just kidding.
You're gonna hurt my feelings, Danny, if you draft me. I'm just saying.
You're gonna hurt your chances of winning if you don't draft me.
There you go.
Hey, my top are the parent-child team. So
that's what I'm talking about.
There's partial. All right, last thing I'm gonna wrap up. I just want to tell people about this project I've been working on. Anybody who's seen my detailed notes, again, I was focused on the end of the season. At that finale, I was going to rock that memory challenge and take the most detailed notes possible. And so my journal was crazy. As a result of that, I got a lot of information and content out of it. And so I've created these really fun interactive Google Maps that I'm going to be releasing with each episode that details all of the leg of the race. It shows all the different locations. You can see taxi routes, self-drive legs as you map through the city, watching all the different challenges and stuff. And I even include a lot of extra verbiage and stuff into that. If this is something you're interested in engaging as a fan, seeing all this content, I'm going to share links with everyone for free. It's going to be a link that I'm going to share in each episode as we release it each week. In these panel episodes, we may even do a little bit of a deep dive into it after we watch the episode and watch it kind of play out on this screen. But this is something we definitely want to share with the community because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if this is something you're interested in, keep tuning into us, watching these episodes because we're going to release these links for you. But then also, if you want to get them first thing through email, sign up for our on our website, lauriesfablife.com. There's an email you can subscribe to, and we're releasing that via email. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys for your time. I know you guys busy lives. There's a lot of stuff going on. So if you to take the time, sit down with us for a little less than an hour. Just been so much fun to talk about this fun things about the Amazing Race. So thank you guys so much.
I do have one quick thing before we end. Again, Jeff and Pops, I absolutely adore you guys. Something that they didn't air, it doesn't give any spoilers, but we were together several times on the race. And during the first episode, one of the challenges reminded me of one of my kids that is has struggled for years. And I kind of broke down talking about it with Phil, and you guys were close by and you guys were so supportive, like with Phil there. And then after Jeff, you're like, that was me. Like I was actually worse than your son and I turned out fine. Like you got this story. And you guys were so supportive on the personal, like even though we're racing against each other, you guys were like, it was so personal and touching, and you guys are stuck with me for life. So I love you guys.
You stuck with us. We
Thank
appreciate
you so much. That's a beautiful thing. I didn't even know if you remembered that conversation because you know we're in the moment in the race and all of that. Wow. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And it's the same. We love you too.
Yeah.
And Scott too. You're all right too, man.
That's right. It's a package deal. It's a package deal.
He's smooth.
Well, I'm so excited to keep doing this panel idea. Hopefully we'll have more of our current race family, some former racers that'll want to be on here, other fans. If you're interested in being a part of this, join the Tar Hub Discord, engage with the community. I'm just telling you, there are so many fans out there. Just open your mouth, talk to people about the excitement. I promise you're not a nerd. Everyone else is nerding up the same stuff. We're all part of the same fun family and community. So love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.